Hi everyone, here we go. Part 4 on acidic drinks, foods, beverages and teeth. This might be the last part, I'm not sure. Let's see where we go with this one. So here we go, citrus fruit. Very delicious and very, you guessed it, acidic. We can also throw pineapples in there and kiwi fruit. So just a general rule to observe with the acidity of fruit is that the more unripe the fruit is, the more acidic it is. The acids drop as the fruit ripens and it becomes sweeter and more sugary. From a dentist's point of view, that's like a lose-lose situation, because if you eat them when they are less ripe, more acid. You eat them when they're more ripe, more sugar. And yes, the sugars in fruits can cause tooth decay. So that's bad news for big fruit eaters. So just a general thing that I want to share with you about fruit versus fruit juice. And this is quite an important one. If someone loves their fruit and they love their citrus fruit, one of the things we try and encourage you to do as dentists is to eat a piece of fruit rather than drink a glass of fruit juice. The reason being that when you eat a whole piece of fruit, you have to chew it, and the act of chewing increases the flow of saliva. If you saw my last little video on sports drinks, you'll know that the problem with sports drinks is that we drink them when we play sport when our mouth is dry. Now, the benefit of chewing is that it increases the flow of saliva, it increases the good saliva, or the most helpful and protective saliva, which is the watery saliva, and it actually makes the saliva more alkaline. So that's great. So the net effect of that is that even though a glass of fruit juice is as acidic as a piece of fruit, it's the same amount of acid, the chewing that you do with the fruit actually helps give you a degree of protection. Okay, a degree of protection. You can't flog that though, because the beautiful acids that give fruit their gorgeous flavour, or the acid, is citric acid. And citric acid is quite a strong acid, and it's actually very hard for saliva to counteract it. It's one of the harder acids for it to work against. What I mean then by saying you've got to be careful and not push it too far is to say that, okay, great, chewing a piece of fruit will help, but if you're going to eat 3, 4, 5 pieces of fruit, if you're going to sit down with a bag of mandarins, peel them and eat them, I wouldn't recommend that. Apart from the fact your blood sugars are going to go through the roof. But the other thing that's going to happen with that is that the saliva can only do so much. You're just going to overwhelm it. You're going to push far beyond what your saliva can bring you back from. So, what can I say? Eating fruit is certainly better than drinking juice, because again, when you drink that juice, you don't have the stimulated saliva effect, and so the acids are hitting your teeth in whatever state they happen to be in. Really, the key to dealing with acidity, and particularly if you're someone who has very sensitive teeth, or your dentist has already said, hey, you're wearing down your tooth enamel, really the key is to reduce your overall exposure, minimize the amount of citrus fruit you eat. And yes, it's got ascorbic acid or vitamin C in it, but again, as the name says, ascorbic acid, the acidity has an impact on your teeth. And one of the things I recommend people who love fruit, because the last thing you want to do is discourage people who are healthy and they enjoy to eat good, healthy food and a lot of fruit in that. You don't want to discourage that. I don't want people running out and going, well, she doesn't let me eat my grapefruit. She doesn't want me to eat my oranges. I'm going to go and eat a Big Mac instead. That's not what we want. But What I'm saying is you need to look at how much citrus fruit you're eating. And if you've had the conversation with your dentist, and if your dentist has said to you, you've got a problem with acid, really it's bringing down that level of fruit consumption. Eat more veggies, eat more cucumber, eat more capsicum. You know, capsicum, amazing source of vitamin C. I'm sure naturopaths can come up with 1,000 different options that are also high in vitamin C for you. So, using vitamin C as your rationale, there are other sources that are not quite so punishingly acidic. The other thing you can do, but again, we can't get too clever about these things because sometimes our clever solutions actually don't work out to be so clever in the long run. You can always eat a piece of fruit or drink your juice and have plain water on hand and use it to rinse your mouth out. But you've got to remember that acid's already hit the tooth. So all you're doing is you are reducing the harm, maybe, to whatever degree. A lot of the harm reduction depends on the quality of your saliva anyway, which is a bit tricky to measure. And we can talk about that one day in another talk. But really managing things cleverly when really what we need to be doing is looking at the overall quantities we're eating and really considering reducing them. You can see I'm a bit of a stickler more for, hey, don't expose your body to so much harm in the first place. Now, one blanket rule that I will give is that if you have, a glass of orange juice in the morning, or you eat an orange before you go to work, or as one of my friends asked about, sucking on limes, do not brush your teeth straight away. Do not. That immediate acid exposure means those tooth surfaces are very, very fragile. You pick up a toothbrush and put toothpaste on it, which is an abrasive paste. You start brushing, that tooth structure is gone. And once it's gone, it's gone. There's no more enamel. The tooth fairy doesn't bring enamel. I wish she did. Mind you, she'd have her work cut out for her. That enamel is very, very precious. And once it's gone, there's no getting it back. And all we can do as dentists is make some sort of substitute with another material, which is never the same as your own beautiful tooth structure. And look, I'm not writing off dentistry. We can do some lovely things, but hey, why don't we protect this natural resource that we've already got? Like, we got it for nothing. So, why don't we look after it rather than having to look for expensive solutions? Just quickly, one thing I wanted to do is take you through a little indication of the more acidic fruits and the less acidic of the fruits. And I mean the citrus fruits. I'm sorry, I have to read, so you're going to have me looking down and looking slightly distracted. But the most acidic of the citrus fruits are lemons and limes. So they're in the low 2 range. And you might remember from last time that 0 is like mega acidic, that just eats holes through everything. 7 is completely neutral. So if 7 is neutral and 0 is down here, then lemons and limes are around here. They're around a 2, 2.5. That's pretty acidic. They're very delicious, but very acidic. Sucking on limes, don't know that I'm such a fan of that. Grapefruit, according to the studies that I've found, are less acidic. So they're about 3.4, 3.6. So they're above lemons and limes, but they're still really mega acidic. And oranges have a pH of around 4.35. So again, well into the acidic range, just less acidic. What does that mean? You don't want to start eating limes and lemons and sucking on them too much, because that's really hard-hitting citric acid, ascorbic acid, straight on your tooth surface. And if you juice them, you do not want to have those juices neat, like straight with no water in them. Even watering them down, of course, they'll be less acidic, but they're still very, very acidic. And that's why my very first post was about the lemon juice in water detox and cleansing process. The problem is, of course, we do tend to water down lemon juice and lime juice because they're very potent. Orange juice we tend not to water down because it's sweet and it's yummy and it's delicious. So who does the most harm, the watered down lemon or the straight orange? Good question to consider. What's the overall message though, to keep this really simple? Really do consider reducing your citrus fruit intake. Really watch out for binging on citrus fruit. You know, when it's in season and it's amazing and they're the best oranges you've ever eaten and it's so easy to binge on them. Just watch out for that. Make sure you drink plenty of water. And if you're tossing up between drinking juice and eating fruit, always eat the fruit. The thing is, you'll eat less fruit in one sitting in terms of peeling an orange and eating it. You'll probably eat one orange, maybe two if you're really craving them, but you can easily have 4 or 5 oranges in one juice. It's a lot of acid. So reduce your fruit if you can. I would strongly recommend it, and always talk to your dentist. Get them to look at your teeth, do an assessment, let you know if you're a big citrus fruit eater. Just say to them, hey, what's going on with my teeth? Should I be watching out for this? And their job is to give you the answer. Anyway, I hope this has also been helpful. It's always bad news though from the dentist, but hopefully it will give you something that you can work with to help keep that beautiful set of teeth of yours far healthier and stronger for longer. Bye everyone.